Hey beauties, today I'm going to be showing you how to achieve this bronzy, long-lasting makeup look. It is all about the skin for today's tutorial. I do have the eye makeup coming in a separate tutorial. So today is all about long-lasting makeup. It's a bit more of a medium to full coverage finish. However, you can still apply the same techniques to lighter base makeup. So I'm going to start off with the Tatcha water cream. This is ideal for oily skin. However, they do have one if you suffer with dry skin. This has such a beautiful consistency. It's quite thick in the pot, but as soon as it hits your skin, it almost goes like water. So it's very, very lightweight and super hydrating, and it's great if you have a combination to oily skin. This is a new product from HUDA Beauty. It's the GloWish Blur Gem, which is a silicone-free smoothing primer. It looks beautiful. So this has been designed to be applied underneath your makeup or just on a day where you're wearing no makeup but you want to eliminate some shine. It's very hydrating, but as you can see, it does instantly mattify when it hits the skin. So it's a nice hybrid formula. So even though it is silicone-free, it will still refine the appearance of texture and pores on the skin. As this is a long-lasting makeup tutorial, we want to use products that are long-lasting, but we also want to make sure our skin is prepped well in advance, because if you're going to be wearing makeup all day, the last thing you want is it drying on your skin or making your skin look crepey. So I'm applying some eye cream. This one is the Vitamin Enriched Eye Cream by Bobbi. I love this one. Then I also want to prep my lips. Even though I'm not going to be wearing a full-on lipstick, I still want them to feel very hydrated. It contains coconut oil and shea butter, so it is a nice vegan alternative to lanolin. So now our skin is prepped, I'm going to move on to foundation. Today I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous foundation. Even though it is luminous, it does still give a natural finish. It's available in 50 shades, so it's definitely something for everybody, and it's a medium coverage. So really great if you want something that's kind of special for every day, where you don't leave the house looking like you're caked in makeup. I've chosen this foundation because it is long wearing, but again it does offer that medium coverage, so you've got the option to build it up if you want, or you can really sheer it down. I really love the medium coverage for this particular look that we're going for today. As I am someone who's slightly oily, I would need medium if I wanted it to last all day. If I wore something very lightweight, chances are by lunchtime it's going to start looking really patchy. You'll find that's why a lot of people that are particularly oily tend to go for very full coverage makeup, because that's how it tends to last a lot longer. However, it isn't always a necessary option. You can still get away with wearing a medium coverage for all day wear as long as you prep the skin correctly and set the makeup correctly. This is just one layer of the foundation. As you can see, it's really covered beautifully. The only place I've not taken it is up underneath the eyes, because we're going to go in with concealer there, and you'll find that sometimes your concealer going underneath here will break down your foundation. Also, that amount of layering can also make it look more crepey. My choice of concealer today is by Tilbury. This is the Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer, and I'm only applying a very small amount of it just in the areas I want to build up a little bit more coverage, because this is a very appropriate daytime look that's long lasting. We want thin layers. Even though it will be obvious that we are wearing makeup, we don't want it to be that detectable on the skin. We want to look flawless, but at the same time still in the category of natural. So as you can see, I'm not bouncing it out too far. I'm keeping it where I've applied it, and this is just brightening those areas but adding a little bit more coverage. On the inner corner of the eyes, I'm using a brush to distribute the majority of the product first, and then I'm just going to bounce over it directly where I've applied it with my sponge, just to absorb a little bit of that excess product. The sponge is damp because I feel like this gives the most airbrushed finish. So as you can see, that is our concealer and our foundation done. So the next stage for us is to apply a layer of setting spray. This one is the Decay All Nighter. This does distribute a lovely fine mist, but if you haven't used it for a day or so, don't apply it directly straight to your face, because it will spray you in blobs rather than a nice fine mist. So you'll notice I also applied a little bit to my sponge. Then I'm dipping that into the Mercier translucent powder, and then I'm applying another layer of the setting spray directly onto the sponge so it coats the powder. Then I'm applying that underneath my eyes, making sure I've got rid of any creasing. I'm actually doing this more so for you, because I don't tend to wear powder underneath my eyes. I prefer to move my concealer back into place throughout the day. So each time you dip your sponge back into the powder, make sure you apply a layer of the setting spray to the sponge first. So I'm only doing this around 3 times, once for underneath the eyes, then for the bottom half of my face, and then I will do it for the top half of my face Oh, and I will do it for my eyelids as well. You can see I'm using the very tiniest amount of powder. I've not dipped it in and it's not caked in it. It's almost like the finest veil that sits on the sponge. That way you'll look less powdery and it won't enhance the peach fuzz on your skin. The reason I'm doing this on my eyelids is because we're not going to be applying any eyeshadow today. So I'm going to zoom in and show you my skin because, as I say, this is more of a medium to full finish overall. So you'll see, even with the layers of powder and the layers of setting spray, you can see that there's makeup on the skin, no doubt. Obviously this is a long lasting makeup look. However, it still doesn't look cakey or overly heavy. So now we've powdered, we're going to apply another layer of that setting spray. And then make sure it is completely dry before we move on to the next section. To bronze up the skin and add some warmth, I'm going to take the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Sunkist Glow Bronzer. This is available in 4 shades and it is a cream finish. I'm going to use a duo fibre brush to buff this onto the skin. I like this because it picks up less of the product and I find it just gives a beautiful blend. So initially we'll almost apply it in a speckled finish, but as you start to work it in with a very light hand, it will buff it in a very, very seamless finish. I'm not going to be applying any contour products specifically, so I'm going to use this as a bit of a contour bronzer in one. So this is going to help to sculpt the face as well as warm it up so it looks a bit more sun-kissed. I'm applying this to the cheekbone area, not as low as the hollow of the cheek, but I am skimming that hollow so it adds a bit of a shape, but also keeping it slightly higher for a lifted look. As it is a cream, I'm going to push it into the skin with my beauty blender, and as you'll see, it just takes off a little bit of the excess product and leaves behind this beautiful veil of warmth. It ends up looking less like makeup and more like a natural sun-kissed finish on the skin. So we're also going to take that around our hairline as well. And I'm still using a very light hand. I'm just letting the bristles do the work while I swirl that in circular motions. You'll see that once you start to finish the forehead, it really starts to look beautiful, like you've been on holiday and you've caught some lovely sun. And you'll see now that my face is matching my natural tan on my body. Because I keep my face out the sun, it's always a little bit different in shade. So this is a nice way for me to get my face to match the rest of me. Once you've done that around your ears and your neck, make sure you go over with your sponge and press that into the skin. I'm taking a fluffy blending brush and a little bit of the Bare Minerals Endless Summer Bronzer, and I'm working that through the socket of my eye. As I said, we're not doing any eyeshadow today, but we are taking a bit of powder bronzer through the socket to warm it up, and you'll see it really does help bring the look together. This is a fluffy brush by Anastasia Beverly Hills, but any fluffy blending brush will do the same job. I tend to hold the brush either in the middle or towards the back when I'm doing the majority of the blending, because this enables you to have a very, very light hand. If you hold it where the silver ferrule of the brush is, you'll find that you can be quite harsh and you'll have a bit more pressure, and you want a very light hand when you're doing a soft blend. So just take your hand a little bit further back and hold it very softly. Also take a small amount of that underneath your lower eyelash line and it will help to frame the eye. Then you can just go in with some mascara or a full-on eyeshadow look. I've done this, but I have filmed a separate tutorial for this. This will be up soon. So I'm using an angled brush from Bobbi Brown and very lightly tapping on the smallest amount of powder bronzer to almost set the cream. You can of course just go in with translucent powder, that's completely up to you. If you feel you need a bit more warmth, then you can be a bit heavier with your powder bronzer. My favourite long wearing blush, hands down, is the Nudestix Nudies Bloom. And as you know, my favourite shade is the Sweet Peach Peony. I remember feeling very reluctant about trying a cream bronzer because I remember thinking I'm oily, it's just going to look extra shiny on my face, but as soon as I tried it, I can't tell you how much I fell in love with it. And it has this most incredible staying power, it just does not move. So for me, it's definitely the choice when it comes to long wearing makeup. And because the Nudies Bloom does give off this beautiful glass-like finish, it means I don't have to apply any highlighter separately. There's absolutely no shimmery particles in this, so it doesn't enhance your skin texture. Instead, it almost reflects the light and just gives you the most beautiful finish to your skin. I do have a new Nudestix discount for you guys. If you want to get 10% off and you're shopping on nudestix.com, whether you're in the UK or the US, you can use my discount code Shonagh and that will get you 10% off. As always, I will list and link everything I've used in the description bar along with any discount codes that I have. If you are UK based and you only want to shop within the UK, such as like Cult Beauty, I will link it for you, but you won't be able to use the discount code on Cult Beauty. It's only valid on nudesticks.com. So I love that product so much. I'm also applying it to my lips because I feel like it just lasts all day. But just to give it a bit of va-va-voom, I'm going to add a little bit of this lip liner by MAC in the shade Stone. I'm applying it and then blending it out, and it just adds the tiniest shadow around your lip line, which makes it look a bit more defined. Feel free to use whatever colour works for you. You might be a vibrant lip colour girl, go for it. Especially if, like me here, you're wearing more minimal makeup on the eyes, you can definitely get away with more of a vibrant lip. I'm all about the nudes and the peaches, so for me, this is my go-to. So now the blush and the bronzer's on, also the lipstick, I'm going to go in with another veil of the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. And then we're going to finish off with some finishing powder. This one is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Powder, which is my favourite. I'm using it on a fluffy brush and I'm applying this just through the centre of the face. This is great if you find that your bronzer or your blush has gone a little bit patchy and you need to kind of finish off your face with a soft veil. You can buff this all over. It won't add any cakiness or heaviness. It will just help blend everything together. I'm always very gentle around my blush because it is a bit of a shiny cream and I don't want to take that shine down, so just be cautious where you apply it. So that's how I achieve a long-lasting medium to full coverage makeup look that still looks very natural but lasts all day even if you have oily skin. Please give the tutorial a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Remember, all the products will be listed and linked in the description bar, and I will see you on Sunday with a new tutorial.